Welcome to Spaghetti Junction Podcast. My name is Gareth.
My name is Bruce.
And we laugh about things. We just don't know where they're gonna go. Excuse me. Had to get that out of my system.
Gareth is getting in touch with his inner animal.
My anamorphic side, I think that's what it is, eh?
Yeah.
Is that the right wording? Yes, it is the wording, eh?
Flipping hell. I was pronouncing this
Anamorphic,
so well.
No? Oh, so I guess I'm wrong on this one.
Anthropomorphized.
Okay, it wasn't even close.
Do you know how long it took me to practice saying that word?
I didn't even try. Oh, I thought I was so good.
It's 7 o'clock on a Friday morning, and Gareth massive words.
I know, Horwick. Well, as you know, me on this podcast, me and big words are never good. So you did it better than I could. So well done to you.
That word has got 17 letters in it, bro.
17.
I've just counted them.
Now, do you see? That makes everything even more confusing. As confused as people are, it's already extremely confusing. I must just say, I was saying to Bruce that I've actually finally found lens view. Lens view, a camera shot where I can actually feel like I'm actually in the room, like you are. So it's only taken me like 3 or 4 episodes. And if the people are watching, if you don't like it, well, just write down and maybe tell me what I should be doing besides turning off the camera. Because that's not
better
very
late
nice.
than never, I suppose.
What, turning off the camera or just being
like
this?
Man, finding the right shot.
Finding the right shot, yes. So as you would have guessed, we are going to be talking about furries. Do you want to just go right into the fun of it all?
I think we should, yeah.
Let's go, furries. Let's go.
Woof, woof.
Oh.
Who let the dogs out?
Their parents for lunch, probably, the way that we're going. Kick us off, please.
Okay, so, as soon as Gareth suggested this, I was like, yeah, man, I've got to talk about this because this is interesting. I actually really, really enjoy talking about, finding out about subcultures of people. I think it's very, very interesting.
It is.
So the term furry, or people who identify as so-called furries, are people who they feel they want to be more personified as an animal than an actual person.
Yeah.
And they like to dress up in animal costumes. Some of them are pretty damn impressive. I've got to be honest.
Some of them are like, damn, that is pretty special.
Yeah, expensive too.
Yeah.
But and then they like to sort of get together with like-minded people and dress up and just interact. And so yes, to go back to our big word of the day. Furries. Damn it, man! I want to try and pronounce this right. They have an interest in anthropomorphized animals, so basically that means it's animals in cartoons, in video games that have been given human characteristics, like they walk up on hind legs.
Exactly.
They can talk. They have just all those general human characteristics.
Exactly. I mean, the one thing out of that is that they walk on 2 legs. So you're not going to see them running around on 4 legs or 2 arms and 2 legs. They all walk around on 2 legs. Exactly.
Correct.
Yeah. And it's also kind of known for like it's and why this I think is such an accepted within certain people, within certain people's, lives and so forth, is that the furry, the subcultures are known for, for its inclusivity, and what do they say? you, sorry, its inclusivity and its welcoming nature, and they're basically like we really try and you know and like empathize, respect and acceptance with age, gender, sexual orientation, ethnicity, etc., etc., which is why it seems to be something which anybody can really, get into, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think what I glean from and I think
Glean,
you should
good
definitely
word.
glean. There you go. Eh?
I glean.
And what I was thinking, the documentary that you sent me, I think you should definitely throw the link in the
Okay.
description so that people can
Yeah, yeah.
see it, because I thought it was very interesting. Just 15-minute documentary, but what I gleaned from that was,
Yes. Yes.
um, everyone. It's a human condition to want to be accepted, by other people, and this is I see it as another sort of way that maybe people don't maybe certain people who don't find themselves accepted within, like, normal society, they find that they,
Normal. Yeah.
yeah, that they can that they've got an outlet, yeah, just to maybe be their more authentic selves, and just to and to find a place where they can just be without having to stress too much about what other people think of them and that kind of thing. And so I think that's pretty cool. I think, everyone's, and I don't see it as, I see it as just it it could be the same as, people who like cosplaying, or
That's exactly what it is. It's a version of a well, no, I think they would be angry at that, but
goes a
yeah,
little bit deep.
it's.
I think it goes a bit deeper than cosplaying.
But if you do think of cosplay, yes, then that's the kind of best example which you can think of.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you don't want to sort of lump them in. It's like, please, just people cosplaying and just want to dress up like animals. I think,
Yeah,
it definitely seems to go deeper than that. Um,
absolutely.
and yeah, I mean, if you as a person can find a group of like-minded people where you can maybe be a little bit more of your authentic self than in quote unquote normal society,
Normal.
then
Again, yes.
then go for it. If you want to dress up like an animal on the weekends or even during the week, you go do you, man.
Well, exactly. And I
You
was
know,
reading actually, and I don't know if you found this in in your gleaning, as you do, is that I don't know if it was the largest percentage, but a very high percentage of people in furries are from the LGBTQIA etc groups. And I think that very much ties in with it's a place of being
yes.
just accepted for who you are, kind of thing, and not having to,
Mm.
and I guess it just shows, obviously, within our culture and the world in general. Sometimes you have to actually find yourself a subculture. It almost, like with this, you sometimes have to find yourself another outlet to, just to be accepted, I guess, which in some ways is pretty cool. In some ways it is pretty sad. Not sad, but like it's if that makes sense. So
Yeah, that's
in a sense where to be accepted and just feel safe for who you are, sometimes you have to go to find a subculture just to, yeah.
yeah, and I think definitely in the 2000s, and in the last 5 or 10 years, that has increased, because you find so many, especially younger people, are have so much difficulty with social awkwardness, trying to figure out who they are, all that kind of thing. And it's really, really tough for so many young people out there, especially. And yeah, and then hence the need, hence they're searching for, like, flipping hell, I want to, like I said, they want to be accepted. They want to find like-minded people where they can just sort of be themselves without any sort of pressure whatsoever.
Yeah.
And if you
So
find
yeah.
that, yeah, like I said, more power to you. Although it's quite
Oh,
interesting, when you're talking about the sort of the demographic, a lot of surveys have suggested that the bulk of people who identify themselves as furries are actually male more than female.
really? For
Yeah,
real?
yeah.
That's surprising.
A lot of them, a lot of the guys tend to be gay or non straight identifying.
Yeah,
Um,
non-binary, for example, I would imagine, huh?
so gay, bi, trans, all that. They do tend to be more white.
Really? Wow.
Mm, yeah, and also and sort of average age is sort of mid 20s, and that I can kind of understand. There are a lot of young guys out there who are really, really searching for an identity, and I'm not I'm not surprised at that. So, but that was just an interesting thing. So, but you do
It's,
obviously get girls who are doing it as well, and that.
I would imagine that there's a lot because it's very creative, it's very colorful, it's very, I don't know, in touch with more, of like a gentle side kind of thing. I'm guessing.
Yeah, yeah,
But yes, going with what you're saying as well, I'm also reading up. Yeah, this is now on Wikipedia. I don't know if you got that from yours, but yeah, on the Wikipedia site, 67% of furries identify themselves as male, while 23 as female. While only 2% of furries identify themselves as transgender. Now, obviously, that's just one site.
yeah.
And it's basically from this other, as we do our research and stuff, because you don't have to. This other thing is this this site with the whole graph. Now their view is furries are between 1 in 2,500 and 1 in 5,000. So basically about between 1.4 and 2.8 million worldwide.
Okay.
I feel that we're taking this on like so seriously. I
You
mean,
know what?
it is a serious thing. Yes, it is, but it's also like, hey, it's slight, Let's. Yeah, anyways, carry on. It just
Yeah,
felt very like, But you do. But your points are very valid. I'm not saying it's not a serious thing. I'm just, it's
yeah, I know. It's just kind of we're
it's
just
also
chatting
fun.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually thinking, just a bit of an aside, that we should think about maybe doing a series in our light conversations, maybe a series on subcultures, and this could be the first one. I'm just putting it out there as a suggestion
Put it out there, son.
because there are quite a few other
That's what
subcultures
she
that could
said.
be.
So now,
So yeah. Anyway,
that's the fun side. So now, there was this thing going around, and it has been going around New Zealand as well as in other countries,
yeah,
where there was a whole rumor, and there's been rumors, like everywhere, that there were certain schools that were trying to be open to the furry community, so to speak,
yeah,
and they had like they would allow them to wear certain, I mean, obviously not a big suit kind of thing, but I
yeah,
mean something, and they would allow them to also have they actually, and they had like a unisex bathroom with a litter box. Now that went around everywhere, and for a portion of time, some people, a lot of people actually believed that. I mean, it was so well, because I mean, I guess it worked because this whole thing of, and then, and obviously we won't go into it now because we already have, but the whole thing of male bathrooms, female bathrooms, unisex. Well, if that's the case, let's just throw it, in a dirt box in the corner kind of thing. Obviously, that's not happening. But now I've gone into a site, where they talk about things from a parent's kind of view,
Yeah.
And that was very, very interesting as well. Um, and they now gave a few views as to um, as to possibly some reason why some of the kids, might be getting, into furries and so forth, and what, could the background be, so forth. So now this is one section, here, which it says, like, what are the risks? And this is coming from a site that is linked with parenting, I think, and so forth. So now they're saying, so the question was, yeah, so like, what are the most significant risks of being a furry? Okay, so furry is cool, but now what can happen within schools? Obviously, bullying is a big thing, because I mean, you're walking around school, wearing something linked to being a furry or making noises. In some of the schools, it actually got to a point where they had to curb it because certain people were going around running after girls, barking and like chasing after them, kind of thing, as like as part of a furry character. I feel sometimes though that within any subculture, people can take something and use it to their advantage, in the sense, use it for a way that it was not even thought of at all. So some of the, like, the other concerns now, I would imagine that this parenting side is probably for like ages up to, I don't know, like about 10, 11, 12, 13. I don't really know. And then they also, and then there was another thing with this fursona, which they call it,
Yes, a
is
fursona.
a fursona. They pretend to be a different age, for example, and it can get to a point, where they're saying, where they might get confused between ages, or or like tell a whole nother age thing, which they're not. I'm like, yeah, whatever. So there was an interesting one though, in the sense where parents obviously have to be careful, in the sense, where there's one of these comic con, sorry, this whole furry conventions and stuff.
Yeah.
Is this very, you may find, and like I'm saying, some people can take something from the good and turn it to the bad, where you don't know who is inside that furry suit. That's the one thing which I have, is in the sense where where you may think you know the person, but you have no idea what they look like, and you might have
Correct.
some dodgy person dressed up in a, I don't know, in a funky unicorn, whatever, going around, and using it as a way to chat with other, well, not other, sorry, chat with other furries, but they may be from a younger generation, younger, and they could always use that. They can use that to their nastiness, basically. And my question is, how do you know for sure who you are talking to in that costume at a furry convention, for example? Because you don't know what they look like. So and I think that's where there's a positive, because you can go and be yourself, and you're not judged immediately by what you look like. That, I think, is pretty awesome. You can just go in there, and people can actually experience your character and who you are just by being you.
Yeah.
The flip side, again, you don't really know who is in that costume.
Yeah. Yeah. And that comes down to, that's obviously got, especially when you talk to, when you talk about the kids and whatever, that definitely comes down to a parenting thing, where the parents have got to go and go, okay, cool, our child seems to have this interest, like, and it's, we could allow the child to have this interest, but there needs to be certain boundaries put in place. with like if they want to go to a furry convention, then okay, cool, you can go, but we're going to come with you as your parents, and
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
going to be there. We're not just going to let you just run amok and that,
Yeah.
and then and then you're talking about the schools thing, where you do hear that I think there was one teacher, I think it was in the UK, she lost her job because she refused to um, to identify the student as a furry. I think the student was identifying as a cat,
Yeah, yeah,
and she
yeah,
was like,
yeah, yeah.
"No, I'm not going to do that." And the school fired the poor teacher because she wouldn't pander to the and there. So there,
Panda to it. She's
completely unintentional, I promise.
panda.
PANDER.
Oh, close enough though, bro. Sorry, carry on. I find that very entertaining.
So yeah, so there is that. So I think yeah, schools have got to watch out that they don't just let that also just get too out of control. It's like if you come
Yeah,
into school, you are a human student,
a
and you
human
leave all that
student.
and you leave that animal stuff at home, and you go do that stuff on the weekends or in your own time. But when you're at school, you are a you abide by the school rules. And
Well, you
I
see,
think
yeah,
also I just one more point here, especially with the
yeah,
kids and whatever, where the parents need to be very involved, is that it can be very very easy to almost get so into that you forget about reality, and you live permanently in your head in this sort of fursona, if you like, and you forget about what it is to be sort of human. That's taking it to a very extreme point. I do understand, but there
yeah,
could also be that danger, and that's especially where parents of the younger kids need to be
yeah,
involved and need to be aware.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Absolutely. I have something that I want to go to, but it's I'm gonna have to segue from that to what I was gonna, which is quite a funny section. A funny
mm.
thing that I wanted to bring up with this whole thing is, it's not related at all. Okay, so I want to make it. No, you know what? Actually, now I'm making it even worse. Let me. You know what? I'm gonna. Oh my word. Okay. Anyways, did you know that?
We
So
just
this is
don't know
not.
where it's going to go.
Do you know that there is a thing also called bronies as well? Bronies.
I was going to ask
Bronies.
you. I was going to see if you were going to go to that because I also want to talk about bronies.
It was,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So brony, they basically exclusively are fans of the show My Little Pony. That's it. So they live a persona of My Little Pony in there,
Correct. Um,
and they're known as bronies. And so they say here that this wasn't the result of a brony invasion of furrydom, but it's rather a development of interests in the show by pre-existing furries. So I would imagine that you could still be a brony as a furry because it's also an animal, but there's another subgenre of another subgenre. If that makes sense,
it's like an
a
onion.
subculture
Just
of a
peel away the
subculture.
haters.
And they're saying about half of furries consider bronies a subgroup of furrydom.
It's interesting that the brony thing came up because
It's just going down a rabbit hole. Excuse
I
the.
knew.
Yeah,
I see what you did there.
I
Um,
did. Yeah, carry on.
I found out about the bronies thing a
I
couple
didn't
of
even know it
years
existed.
ago. Yeah, no,
What?
I knew about it a couple of years ago because you know when it came up,
You
when
tell me,
I was
Bruce.
when I was first looking into the whole incel subculture. Remember we've talked about incels in the past?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That the whole bronies thing came up when I was searching through incel stuff, which is I thought was very interesting. So I went down that rabbit hole a little bit, and yeah, and now it seems to have it's almost like it's a they've taken the next step from being these ultra fans of an animal based show to
Yeah.
dressing up as animals. It seems to me like it's almost like the next logical step, if you like,
From
the
what?
next the next stage of human evolution.
The next stage of
Like being a fan of an animal-based show to
oh
then
yes, absolutely. Yeah,
trying
well
to
that's
trying to
yeah, well,
become trying to become an animal,
well
basically.
that's
That's what I
that's
see it as.
pretty much what it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think it's like that, and I think it's also just finding another outlet of creativity, maybe. Now, I wanted to bring in here. Did you know? Do you know what? Oh, where did I find it? Hold on. Do you know what yiffing is? YIFFING.
Oh, yes, I did find out about that. Sorry, man, just a quick thing. I am on 28%, so if I
Oh,
die,
so goes the life of ESCOM in South Africa.
I'm so sorry to our audience. I apologize. It's completely out of
Yeah.
my control. I am keeping an eye on it. So,
You know what? As much as we have issues on certain things here, just keep the lights on, damn it.
yeah, I know.
The power
But
on.
Yif,
So, anyways, so my point, I'm going to talk about yiffing
cool.
and why it's very entertaining. So, some people think, okay, there is a percentage where being a furry. So, a lot of people think that being a furry isn't just a sexual fetish, because it's now. And look, with every subculture and things going on, there will be a sexual connotation somewhere, I guess. But now I like what it's called. It's called yiffing. So
It's the making of the
yiffing,
sound.
hey?
It's the making of the sounds of the animal, I think. That's part of it, I
Oh, you
think. Or
think?
not.
Well, you kind of got most of it. If you have ever watched, and you probably haven't really, if you really want to watch it on YouTube, I'm sure you can waste a few minutes on it, or seconds actually. Foxes having sex make a yiffing noise.
Oh, jeez.
You see, so you didn't know, and now I told you. So
Sorry. Okay.
no, you had no idea. The point being, I find that very entertaining, as it's called yiffing. Why? Because it's still trying to be in the same fursona, so to speak.
Yeah.
And and that's how they link to it. Now, it's always I mean, I'm not sure what I read and so forth, but I'm sure it's not a completely easy thing if you like meet up with this, like like you go to the to this it's furry convention, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh damn, look at that badger, ow, little sexy badgeroo. Now, to actually get anything on, you're both wearing these like pretty intricate suits. I think it would probably take more time to get it off than to get it on, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I would imagine that it's less costumes and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it does make sense in the sense of, it's another subculture of, but again, that it's a misnomer that that's what it's about.
Yeah.
With the percentage of people, absolutely, doing a bit of, a bit of, how do we say,
Yes.
yiffing on the side.
Apparently,
It's very entertaining.
apparently there are certain suits that have facilities to facilitate
Oh my
such
word,
acts.
this even.
But they
But
say that most of the time it is pretty uncomfortable trying to.
oh yeah. And also, by the way, it's only a small minority of furries actually own a full suit because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
Because they are not cheap. They're a few $1,000s.
Yeah.
So not everybody runs around with a full suit kind of thing. But anyways, that was just a little side thing that I found quite entertaining. Yiffing is so maybe that can be used as a slang word, once in a while. Hey,
Yeah.
you want to go out and yiff? Yeah, nah. Yes, Bruce.
No, I was just saying, sorry, man. I'm half my attention's on my battery percentage. I can't believe how hostage I'm held to my battery percentage on my laptop at the moment. It's just terrible. But yeah.
Well, if you go dark, then we know that you've left the building.
Yes. So
let me tell you something quickly.
Preempt.
Yeah, exactly. Preempted. So now there's a thing there was a whole bunch of questions as to like, what activities are important, to, like in the furry, it's called the furry fandom. Yeah. The furry fandom. So the biggest one that popped up was community, and the and the lowest 2 was drama and sex. And the biggest 3 was community, art, and acceptance. And that just pretty much paints the picture for it, for sure.
Those are 3.
That's why it's there.
Those are 3
exactly
positive things. So that's why I was saying, if you find a community that you can just be accepted in, and it's creative and it's freeing to just be yourself, then who are we to stand in your way and judge you, kind of thing.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So and also it's the thing as to like, is furry a sexual orientation? It's no. It's now. And I think I mentioned as well, is that there's a large percentage, of LGBTQIA, involved in there as well. But it's not about a sexual orientation at all. It's just acceptance. It looks, look, and I'm sure it also gets damn hot in there as well.
Yeah, especially in California. Seems like a lot of them are in California.
Yeah, like pretty hot.
Yeah. Oh well, you know what? If you're that passionate about anything, you put up with the discomfort because the positives outweigh the negatives, and there you go.
So, if you want to get a furry suit, a fursuit it's called. They start. So this is not like, every shop, but, I mean, the ones which I've been looking at, obviously, not because I want to get dressed up as a fox, but, there's a song that came out in New Zealand, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 years ago, and I'm pretty sure it was done here, is, what did the fox say? Yeah. It's a local. What did the fox say? Anyways, no, wait, I don't know if it's what did the fox say. Anyways,
yes, it was.
It was, okay. You see, that's what we bring to the, art side of the world. We bring in foxes. Anyways, so this thing here on one of the sites, so I've just gone on to an actual site where you can order a fursuit, and you can do things from small ears to big ears, fins, horns, spikes, bangs, mohawks, full heads of hair, noses with nostrils, ears and face piercings, removable eyelids for various expressions, glasses, sewn in knit liner, many more. They start at they start at $5,200. Now, I need to actually put up this site because you can actually see some of the suits they make are quite epic, actually. So give me a chance. I'm just going to share the screen on what I'm on. There we go. Just let me know when it's showing.
Yeah, it's busy loading now.
It's there.
There we go.
Okay, so over here, these are some of the suits.
Yes.
Look at this zebra. Come on, boy. I want to be as. I mean, these are so well done. These are not like a random little, let me sew together some socks and hats and blah blah blah. This is quite impressive. That dog is like. Oh, it is. I mean.
Impressive. Very impressive. Jeez.
Yep. And now, for example, if you don't want to do the whole suit. You
can do the feet.
Get the paws done, for example, and they begin at $400, and extra large go to like 1,000. Hold on. Yeah. So they range from about $115 to about $600. I mean, the work that they've done on that, dude.
That's impressive.
It's pretty awesome. I mean, as things go, and then you can also do the sleeves now as well. From about $215 per arm, the whole suit. This is now a whole suit outfit. I mean, I have to say, this is pretty funky. I mean, I can understand why people go with it because it's just creative, man. And then you can have tails as well. little
Yes.
funky tails on the side, wings. I mean, like it's literally these creatures can be made to any form of creativity that you have. It can be
Yeah.
a complete blend of, I mean, so that's just part of it.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
quite something. Yeah, it's quite something. So yes, you want to be an animal, that's fantastic. But it is very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm probably just past the age where I could get away with it, you know. I wanted to mention at one of the schools. So now, what got me thinking of this conversation is that a few months ago, when I was at a nearby shop and stuff, there were three girls who came in from school, like high school age, I guess, and they had on like um headbands, with like ears and and yeah, and they would go around making like little like brrr, little noises, around the shop. Which at first I was like, that's a bit weird, but then it's like, you know what, that's they're not going around and breaking stock and trashing the shop and robbing,
No.
they're just walking around purring like a cat once in a while.
Yeah.
It's very, you know what, if it makes somebody happy, makes somebody feel what's the word, accepted and so forth, then
Yeah.
then hey, I guess the only thing I did mention it way back in the beginning is that sometimes, as we said, positive things can be, used against them, which is kind of sad. But where they were, where I was reading, there was one school where there was a bunch of guys, running around, barking like hectically, angrily barking, and running and scaring the bejeebers out of kids, because they just thought it was funny kind of thing. And I mean, there had been like very rare, negative, negative incidents and so forth. But I'm sure you'll get that in every group and culture and subculture and whatever.
Yeah, you would. Yeah.
Yeah. What are your final thoughts, Bruce? Because I kind of feel your internet may go sooner than later, so I will preempt it.
I'm on 8%. So, I think subcultures are fine as long as you're not hurting anybody else, man. Go do your thing. Everyone's got their thing.
Yep.
Whether it's a way to find beef, whether it's your sexual
Find
orientation,
beef.
or whether it's a way to
Oh,
find
sorry.
acceptance
Yeah.
or whatever. But live your life as you want, but just don't hurt anybody or force your thing on anybody else, and you're all good.
That's exactly it. I think for myself, if I had to choose, it's very difficult. I would probably have some form of a dragon involved. Maybe like a dragon cross something, but I haven't really worked it out. I haven't really gone so far, but maybe if I manage to find my inner furry, I'll let you know.
Your spirit animal.
My spirit furry animal. I'll I'll let you know on that one for sure. Yeah. Right, boy. Always a pleasure. Oh,
Awesome,
I probably just peeked right there. A final thing. And if you go blank, it's fine, Bruce. Stop looking so scared.
Okay, cool. All right,
You're looking so like nervous. It's like if it goes blank, it goes blank.
Okay, cool.
If you saw with our previous episode, well, obviously we all did the previous episode. That was on climate change and so forth. Yes, you remember that one, Bruce?
Yes. Sorry, you broke up. No, you broke up for a second. Sorry. No, you just broke up for a second. That's all. Hello?
Anyways, the point being, we had a discussion last episode about climate change and so forth. Now, what happens here? We got a big notice underneath that episode that gets posted onto certain sites. I mean, certain episodes or videos that show or talk about certain topics that there is enough proof that the person's point of view may be misleading. So they actually popped. So it actually proves it is right. So they actually popped a thing underneath that episode, from the United Nations on on what is climate change. So so just so you know, we had been vetted by the United Nations, and they believe that it's real. Bruce, we're not sure, or you're not sure. But the United Nations say so, so hey. So
okay. All right.
Obviously, it's not exactly where you're going. I just find
trying to work out if that's a positive or a negative, but
I'm not sure actually. But I mean, when the whole thing of COVID and so forth, that also happened on multiple channels. Where they were saying, well, nah, it's a conspiracy thing, blah 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 blah. The same thing happened as well. So maybe the United Nations is part of a conspiracy theory against climate change. But we'll leave that up to your imagination. And on that one, people, Bruce has left the building. So thank you for watching, guys, and listening, and whatever you guys are doing. We may be trying to get a lot of our older episodes onto Spotify, just in case you really get bored and you want to listen to our nonsense when you're driving somewhere, or just trying just to listen to podcasts on Spotify. Yeah. Guys, thank you so much. Find your furry animal, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. And XCOM, I would say that you're sponsoring this episode, but you wouldn't have the power to. All right, guys. See you later. Cheers, guys. Bye.